Media romanticize the view that being a successful entrepreneur means you need to choose your pill and that will ultimately lead you to success or failure. Like gambling in a Vegas casino, you either win big or you fail big. Sure, that makes a good movie, but so does The Hangover. If you want to learn from real life successful entrepreneurs, you will need to learn to take calculated risks and fail small. I've written before about making your highest value contribution to the world. But how do you know what people value most about you before you get it out there into the world? Silicon Valley, where some of the biggest tech giants emerge, are famous for the mantra move fast and break things. Jonathan Taplin actually wrote a book by the same title, in which he details a popular approach by big tech. Sometimes moving fast and breaking things means to crash and burn, but if you move fast and fail fast, chances are it's only a small fire. Eric Ries actually wrote a book called The Lean Startup about creating a minimum viable product as a way of testing it out. Again, he points out that examples in the book, there's examples of products that were released long before they were perfect. I'm going to share a couple of examples below of tests that basically took a small risk and they paid off big. My clients would actually be sick of hearing me say everything is a test. But as a solopreneur or a micro business founder, you're likely to have limited time, money, and resources. So everything is an experiment when you're starting out. If you don't believe me, check out how successful entrepreneurs, including Jeff Bezos, Michael Dell, and Mark Zuckerberg, do things. Amazon was actually one big experiment. A phenomenally successful entrepreneur is obviously Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, who performed one of the biggest tests in business. Jeff Bezos started Amazon, a catalogue of the world's biggest bookstore, from his garage. Although he didn't own much stock of books when he started in 1994, he was able to have a massive display catalogue because of his unique arrangement with existing book distributors. Yesterday, I was actually listening to a podcast by Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, called Masters of Scale. In episode 113, he interviews Michael Dell, founder of Dell Computers. What caught my attention in this episode was Michael talking about setting up his website, so any of his buyers could easily customize their computers that they were buying online. They could choose their individual components, which completely flipped the traditional retail model on its head. Dell was able to do this because they had such an excellent relationship with suppliers. They could take the customer orders and then tell suppliers what to deliver on the same day. Instead of making what they thought would sell, they told customers, they sold what customers wanted, and then they actually set about delivering it. Facebook too started small. Even though it's a household name now, it's a far cry from where it started. Mark Zuckerberg, who is now a successful entrepreneur, started from his dorm room. Only people with a Harvard email address could register for the Facebook, as it was known back then, way before Facebook had investors. Advertisers actually had to have deep products to launch globally, or if they launched in a small area, they had to go with mass media. So Facebook actually had advertisers from a pretty early stage, but initially they were available only to people who registered from an Ivy League university. So launching on this small scale meant that they could start with a minimum viable product. They didn't need to worry about delivering Facebook to the world. They needed to focus on their small world and test it out that way. Small and micro business experiments. So at this stage, you might be thinking, Denny, that's great for the big end of town, but what about for small business? I hear you, but small businesses are experimenting with their businesses every day. Consider a takeaway shop owner who might taste what they sell, or a cook that might check, before they serve something, whether they like it or not. Then they might actually give a taste test to one of their family or their employees. And when they're ready to release a burger to the world, they've already created half a dozen versions. So they've performed the taste tests and they've taken the feedback and improved. Is a successful entrepreneur born or made? Whether a successful entrepreneur is born or made is an age old debate, and I may not solve it today. But one thing's for sure, even the most successful stories have a tale or two of failure amidst them. They failed and they learned from that failure. That's how you need to treat your business journey. It's okay to fail, but you do best if you fail small. If you risk everything, you might struggle to get back on your feet. As Jim Collins said in his book, Good to Great, if you have several bullets and only a single cannonball, don't waste your cannonball. Fire a bullet and see if it hits something. If you miss it, aim somewhere else and try again. When you hit something, load everything you've got into the cannon and fire that cannonball.